Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Think about what the next step from there is. That really threatens the foundation of our republic. Joining me now is J.D. Vance, Ohio's Republican candidate for U.S. Senate. J.D., thank you for being with us. 74 million Americans apparently are extremists now. How is that a winning strategy, campaign strategy, for Biden and the Democrats?
Well, I don't think it's a winning strategy at all because it ignores the fact that Joe Biden has effectively been in a position of leadership for 30 years in this country. And what has happened? In 30 years, we basically haven't won a war. We have had rising suicide rates. We have rising mortality rates such that the life expectancy of the country has come down. We've lost a long-term battle against the Chinese, and Joe Biden is actually taking us in the wrong direction and fighting us back. And given all that, you would expect him maybe to take some responsibility for the fact that the country's not doing well. And instead, he's decided that the enemy is not him, not the people who have made bad decisions, but the patriotic Americans who are frustrated enough about their country that they love to work to change it. And I just can't imagine anything more divisive and more dangerous coming from a president who, if he said anything during his campaign, it's that he would unite the country. This is not uniting at all. He's declaring war effectively on half of the country, not just Donald Trump. I understand he doesn't like Donald Trump, but on Donald Trump's voters. And I can't imagine a president ever doing that in American history.
J.D., this reaction to Biden's speech from CNN, well, I was doubled over when I heard it.
He almost seemed to sort of be reclaiming patriotism. Often you hear Republicans argue that they are the pro-America party, right? The Democrats are not patriotic enough. But what was more pro-USA than this speech?
J.D., reclaiming patriotism. What happened to it, J.D.? Biden's party were saying waving American flags were racist not so long ago.
Yeah, and if you just look at the backdrop of this, I mean, it looked like it was designed by a guy who was intentionally trying to create, ridiculous, evil propaganda imagery. It's not reclaiming patriotism to declare war on half of your citizens. Joe Biden is the president of a shared American nation, and he basically looked to the camera and said, half of you are evil people, half of you are bad people. That's not patriotism. That's a recipe for division and for attack. And look, at the end of the day, the country has serious problems. It has serious problems because of the decisions that Joe Biden has made over the last couple of years. He could accept some responsibility and promise a new direction. Instead, he decided to attack the people who are rightfully angry about his failed leadership. We've got to fight back against this. And I'd say if people want to help us fight back, jdvance.com, support our candidates running, because that's the only thing that's going to provide a check to what we saw tonight.
JD, I want to play what your Democratic opponent, Tim Ryan, had to say about his party today. Watch.
Don't advertise that you're a Democrat. Is that because it's an implicit recognition it's a liability here?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Democratic brand, as we know, and you and I have talked about this for a long time, is not good in a lot of these places. And I tell people, look, I'm an American.
JD, I have 20 seconds left. How do you think he feels tonight about being a Democrat?
Well, I think he probably feels even worse, but maybe he should stop voting 100% with Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and actually fight back. That's exactly what we're trying to do, which is why we've got to send these Democrats, especially in the Senate races, packing come November.
And, JD, you're neck and neck with Ryan, so we'll keep our eye on that race. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.